Hey, this is Rabbi Shmuel Pollan. It's the Light to the Nation show. Please stick around. We've got a lot of old videos for you to watch, and we've got new videos coming up. This is a place of wisdom. This is a place of sharing. This is a place of unity. This is a place of goodness. Stick around because we've got great stuff for you. And this video is going to be one of the great ones because here we're going to talk about the Falling on God Money Challenge. And we all know about the trust fall when you go with a friend and you decide that you're going to fall on them and you totally have to give yourself over to that person and really just trust that they're going to catch you. And then hopefully they do catch you. If not, you're in big trouble. Question is, we trust fall on man. Can we trust fall on God? Can we do it? Can we rely on God? Can we take this money challenge that I'm going to describe to you now? First of all, there's a rabbi named Rabbi Yoshua Gordon. He passed away, I think, right before COVID started. And he was a tremendous scholar and uh, a man of tremendous wisdom. And he taught many classes, which are on Chabad.org, Chabad.org. Unbelievable classes. And he's a rabbi in a Chabad house. And there is a Chabad house near you. Chabad house is where Jews reach out to their own family, try to bring the family into the fold, and also be there for poor people in the area. Anybody can come and get a donation. If you are in trouble, if you need a place to pray, if you need a place to be, if you are confused, go to chabad.org and find the Chabad locator and find the Chabad house near you. It's a very special thing that was set up by my mentor. He was once given a donation, well, not a donation, he was given a pledge by a particularly wealthy individual. Maybe it was, let's say, $100,000, and he was going to give it to him for, let's say, a Holy Torah scroll or for the meals on the Sabbath morning, because people come in and they all get free food. So maybe it went towards that. Maybe it went towards that. The point is, it was a big donation. And then he came a few weeks later and he said, my business went a little south and I'm not going to be able to give the pledge anymore. I'm not going to be able to give the donation. I have to take back my pledge. And Rabbi Gordon said, I understand. I'm sorry to hear that your business went south, but you're a wealthy man. Don't you think you can still, fulfill on the pledge? And he said, I just lost money in my business. You want me to take money out of my savings? Are you crazy? How crazy is that to actually ask someone to take money out of their savings that they're not even using and contribute it towards a worthy cause, helping people who cannot make it? Um, there's an opposite story, the story of Mendel Futterfass, who was in the gulags in Russia, and he was also a successful businessman before that point, and he made a lot of money, and he gave away a lot of money. In fact, he gave away pretty much everything, and whatever money he had left, he decided at one point he's going to consolidate it into one single bar of gold. So he gave all the money in to the dealer and got the bar of gold and dug it in a hole under his bed. And that was all good and fine, except he couldn't sleep. That night he couldn't sleep at all, and he just kept tossing and turning and tossing and turning. He couldn't stand the fact that that gold bar was down there, not doing anything. It wasn't helping anyone. It wasn't really making a difference. It was just sitting there. He couldn't stand it. So he took the bar of gold and he went back to the dealer. He sold it. He took all the money. He dispersed it. He created a loan society, one of these loan societies where you sort of wink, wink, know you're never going to get the money back. And it's basically an endowment fund. And he made all sorts of things happen with the money. And then he could sleep. And I am a little bit of a Mendel Futterfass adherent and sort of walk in his footsteps, even though the Bible says give 10 to 20% of your income. But Hasidic Jews who go beyond the letter of the law actually often give everything. And I, too, give everything. When I got out of law school, I failed the bar. I didn't have a job. I got approached by someone. It was the first time I advertised. I only advertised once. I never advertised again in all the 10 years that I've been doing this. I'm a writer. I write ads. I'm a copywriter. And this guy approached me, and After working with him for a little while, we launched the product and I made $100,000 in one day. And with that, I was able to buy a beautiful home for my family and a beautiful car, and able to send my kids, which are there are 5 of them, to the most expensive private school in the area and maybe in the country. It's very expensive. So from that day forth, I never advertised. I never went on Upwork. I never went on Fiverr. I always just got the money and gave it away to good causes, gave it to poor people, get to people who needed it, and give it to fellow Jews who needed it, and made a loan society, which was like a wink, wink loan society, and gave money to the members of the community who it's actually quite a poor community. So people really needed those endowments, which we called loans. There was a king once, and he was going to set his son up for life. And he was thinking to give him a year's worth of food so he would always be taken care of. But then he changed his mind and decided to give him just a day's worth of food. One day. Why did he do that? Why did he make his child miserable? Because he wanted to see him every day. He wanted to be connected with his son on a daily basis. So he wanted his son to have to keep coming back to him for more. And God does the same thing. When God gave the manna, you were not allowed to save any of it. No savings account for the manna. The manna was this wonderful food that tasted like anything you wanted it to taste like, but it also could taste like honey and sourdough. It tasted wonderful, but the Jews complained about it. They hated it because you could never save any of it. You always had to rely on God. You had to trust fall on God every single day. And that's how it's been for me for the past 10 years. I've never advertised. I've never known where my money is coming from. Any money that came in went for my family, and the rest went out to charitable causes. And that's it. I never had any savings account. I never saved a penny. It all went out. And every time it all went out, I didn't know how the money was going to come back in. And as it stands right now, I'm getting paid a second payment by someone. So it's not quite time yet for the manna to be refilled. However, I don't know where the next money is coming from. And I have 5 kids and an ex-wife to take care of. So it's not an easy situation. But the question is, can you handle the tension? Can you handle that tension of not knowing where the next money is coming from? It's like being in the coldest part of the water in the shower. It's like, can you take that tension? Well, it's impressive when people can do that, but it's even more impressive when you can take the tension of not knowing where your next meal is coming from. I always keep around $500 just for the basic expenses in my bank account, but that is it. And it's just so funny to me and weird and foreign to me when I hear from Dave Ramsey and I hear from other experts about how you're supposed to save and mutual funds and T-bills, and it goes on and on. And why? What is it for? One person says he wants a private jet. How often are you going to use the private jet? What do you really need the private jet for? Tony Robbins, I heard, used the private jet to help trafficked children on the border. So that's a good use for private jet. But you could have used somebody else's plane for that, couldn't you have? You really need your own private jet. What are you exactly going to do with that? And some things people want, like I heard somebody, well, what I really want is I want to be able to go to the airport and not have to bring any bags with me. Well, for $100, you can get a FedEx. You can get the bags placed, sent to the place where you're going, no problem. So what he wanted, his whole life is spent to make money and be wealthy, and all what he wants is actually only $100. That's a sick life. It's a sick lifestyle. I think it makes much more sense to trust fall on God and let him be the one to pick up the tab. And as the Torah promises, the Bible promises, if you give, God will give many times more. And that's what I have. I'm way ahead of other people that are my age, who are lawyers. I make much more money than them. I have a nicer house and a more expensive school. And when you can take care of your family, it's really not that much after a while when they're taken care of with the school and the house and the car. The rest is all available to go to charitable causes, to poor people, to loan societies, and to helping could be trafficked children, organizations that do that, helping children in India. I also help children in India. who are not Jewish, and we give to non-Jews and Jews. And as a non-Jew watching this, you should just know that you can go into any Chabad house, CHABAD, near you, and you will be able to get help, any kind of help that you need. They're not limited to one kind of help. They have true kindness, which is kindness of anything. Okay, so that's the challenge. Can you give away all your money and close your savings account? Can you give away all your money for the rest of the time that you're alive and just pray, meet God every day, like the manna and like the king, meet him every day have to crawl before him, and because you want to be close to him, you crawl before him to get the manna, to get your money for that day. I wish you all financial success, and I wish you all to give it all away. God bless.